my name is Maddie, or Books with Maddie, and today we are doing June deck of TBR. It's that time of month, deck of TBR time. This one is gonna be a tiny bit late, but we are still pushing forward. How do I literally start these videos? Disclaimer before I start this video, I have been having some health issues and dealing with some health related complications, and so videos might be delayed around this time because I'm dealing with a lot of doctor's appointments and tests and stuff. Everything is going really well so far, and I'm in kind of the home stretch of it, but just if videos seem a little bit more spaced out, or if I'm a little bit more tired, for example, I got 4 hours of sleep last night, that's why. Okay, so it might either be 10 times more chaotic because I got 4 hours of sleep, or I just might be really tired the entire time. We'll see. Let's start with talking about what I read in May. So May, I was finishing up exams and stuff, so the beginning of May was kind of a flop for me, but I ended up reading 9 books, and the books that I read from Deck of TBR last month were The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, Something Wilder by Christina Lauren, Siracusa by Delia Ephron, Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren, This Is How You Lose the Time War, I can't remember the authors of that, sorry, The Guest List by Lucy Foley, I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston, oh my gosh. And then I started The Geek Feminist Revolution by Cameron Hurley, I think is the author. Did not finish that one. I'm about 36% of the way through it, but I decided to count it as read because the reason I didn't read it is it was very politically motivated, and there was a lot of, it was just kind of heavy, and this month has been a really heavy month, and so for my own mental sanity, I was like, I'm gonna work through this book slowly. I'm not gonna rush myself through it, and I've been enjoying it more when I read it farther apart, smaller pieces at a time, just so I don't absolutely lose my mind. So with that said, we will count the number of punishments I have. And also, okay, I've been told that I added too many punishments last round, I just did it for no reason, which is entirely possible, and I was like, I'm gonna go back and watch it and count, and then now I'm realizing that I forgot to do that. So let's count how many books I didn't read and then kind of see where we're at with that. Okay, so there are only 5 books that I didn't read, and that would be The Lace Reader by Bernonia Berry, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, The Humans by Matt Haig, and A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. That's 5, so usually it would be 3 punishments, but I'm going to give myself 2 because I think I might have added an extra one last round, and so that's what I'm doing. So many people were saying that, so I'm trusting that that's what the case was, so I'm just going to do 2 punishments, which is actually not bad. So that means we'll be picking 7 books this month. Before I begin the actual round, which will begin very shortly, I want to say that next month marks the 2-year, I believe, anniversary of Deck of TBR, and I've been, over this month, going through comments in old Deck of TBR videos and taking suggestions, writing things down, and you guys have a lot of really great ideas about how to improve Deck of TBR and things like that. You guys just have a lot of cool ideas, and I really want to take this different places. If you guys have any ideas, I encourage you to leave them in the comments below, because I will be working on kind of creating an official rulebook of Deck of TBR and kind of solidifying some new ideas in that edition of it, and so I'd really love to hear your suggestions, because I'd love for this to be a game that we kind of build together as a community. I think that would be really cool. So if you have any suggestions for how I can change and improve and make Deck of TBR more fun and interesting, let me know in the comments below. And with that said, we will get right into the game. I don't know why when I film in this corner, because the window is next to me, it looks so cloudy and foggy. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know why that is, but it's kind of moody. It's kind of edgy. I don't know. We're just going to tell ourselves that. Before I start off this round, I wanted to say the 2 books that I want to get on this TBR. The first is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, because that is the book that my book club is reading for June, so I do want to get that on my TBR. And the second is Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco. I really enjoyed Kingdom of the Wicked, and I'll talk more about that in my June wrap up, but I really did enjoy that book, and so I want to read the second book in it before I forget every single thing that happened in the first book, which always happens when I read a series. So I do really want to read Kingdom of the Curse, and I just bought it, and so I'm very excited for it. I really want to get that on my TBR. With that said, let's begin Deck of TBR June 2022. 3, 2, 1, go. Six of Spades. Okay, Six of Spades is a book written by more than one author. This feels like it's really gonna fall out. Okay, a book written by more than one author. Okay. I'm gonna take a gander. What I don't even know what I have that's written by more than one author. I literally just read This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is what I would have automatically picked. But let me see what I have. Okay, so I didn't look at my whole bookshelf. This was just like the first one that kind of popped out to me was Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Christina Lauren is 2 authors, one named Christina, one named Lauren. Fun fact. So this is the book that I've chosen. This is the only Christina Lauren book that I own that I haven't read. I'm dwindling down to the last few Christina Lauren books that I haven't read that aren't part of that like giant series that they've written. So like I'm concerned about not having Christina Lauren books to read, but this is what my first pick will be. Should I put it here? It's like a little display. Maybe I should start doing that. Oh, we have to replace this. So replace it with favorite trope. Okay, we're going to pick our next card now. In 3, 2, 1, 7 of Diamonds. 7 of Diamonds is the newest published book that I got. I believe it would be Something Wilder by Christina Lauren, which I've already read. That's the newest published book that I own. Alright, let me look. Okay, I'm not totally certain about this. In fact, I'm quite unsure. But I think it would be Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. This came out in like March. So I'm like, could that really be the newest published book that I've gotten? But I don't buy like, oh, it's not, hang on. I just saw the newest one. Wait, hang on. When was this published? Was this published more recently? Let's consult Goodreads. Okay, I don't know where I got the dates in my head where these books were published, but they were both published in January. The Maid was published January 4th, and Anatomy was published January 18th, so it is Anatomy. I thought this was published like last month. I thought this was published in March. Clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about 90% of the time. So I'm going to add Anatomy to my TBR. This only becomes, wow, those are very aesthetically pleasing next to each other. This only becomes a problem if I have to choose one of these. So we just hope I don't get those. That's all we have to do. Draw number 3. 9 of Diamonds. Okay, I didn't replace that. Okay, let's do that first. So replace the 7 of Diamonds with paperback. And now we are going to 9 of Diamonds, which is the highest rated book on Goodreads. So basically what this prompt means is I have to go into my Goodreads, go into my physical TBR bookshelf, and then sort them highest to lowest rated. But the problem is I never update my physical TBR on Goodreads because I'm lazy. So what I might do is go into all of my want to read and then just find the first one that I own. Let's try that and see what happens, because I'm afraid what the highest will be if I just do the books that just put in there, because it wouldn't be like any new books that I've gotten. It might just be old ones that I don't want to read, which means I shouldn't haul them. You're right, but I'm a hoarder. Okay, we're gonna replace this really quick with my newest purchase. And now I'm gonna go onto my Goodreads and go through my want to read, sorting them highest rated to lowest rated, and then I shall pick the first one that I see that I own. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me, and that's a rarity. So okay, so I have it sorted by average rating, which I think is the right one. Whoa. Okay. So immediately, wow, we have some, okay, sorry, I'm gonna speak. So basically, the first one that comes up after like all of the, unreleased books that have high ratings, obviously, is Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows. And that's so funny because my brother is actually reading Harry Potter right now, and I have tried to read through the series twice, and have both times not been able to get through the last novel, not because I'm bored of it, but just because I don't know why. There's no explanation as to why. I want to finish the series because guys, I don't know how Harry Potter ends. And I think that at some point I should, and this would be a good time to do it because then I could read it alongside my brother and that would be fun. Because he's going to finish that series before I do. And I started it in middle school and he started it a couple months ago. Am I going to, let me, before I decide inevitably that I'm going to read Harry Potter because that's the highest rated one on my Goodreads, let me preface it by saying I do not support J.K. Rowling in any way, shape, or form. I think she is a piece of human garbage. I am choosing to believe that Emma Watson wrote Harry Potter from now on. If it were not, in some ways, I feel like choosing ignorance, like ignorance is bliss kind of situation if I just were like, oh, Emma Watson. Because I do want to take responsibility if I read a book written by a transphobic author. I would never read this book if I didn't already own it. I do own it. I have owned it. My family has owned the entire series since they came out. And so I think I'm going to read them because, I don't know. This is a moral quandary. I'm just going to go for it. Honestly, because I'm really tired. That's what happened. I'm reading Harry Potter. Oh my gosh. I'm finally going to read the last Harry Potter book. It's going to happen, and then I will never have to think about that series ever again. I mean, I do admire, like, the series itself is wholesome and good, but there are so many problematic elements to it that it's, like, hard to just, like, I have a hard time separating art from author. So, no shade to people who like Harry Potter, who grew up with it, who, you know, I've been there. I've been one of you. I've been that person who grew up with Harry Potter, and I loved it, so no shade to that. I just have a hard time separating the art from the author. So, sorry. Okay, that book is kind of buried in my bookshelf, so I already replaced that. I don't have it to display here, but let it be known that it's there. Okay, we are going into our fourth draw of deck of TBR. 3, 2, 1, 5 of Hearts. Let's see. 5 of Hearts, science fiction. I have a pretty small science fiction section. I haven't read a lot from it, but I think what I'm gonna go with is The Humans by Matt Haig, which was on my TBR last month, but I really did want to get to it because I've just been seeing a lot of Matt Haig in my timeline, in social media, just like around me, and so I really did want to get to it. And I just was talking about in my book news from, I don't know when, like the most recent one probably, how much the Midnight Library impacted me, and so I just really want to read a lot more of Matt Haig, and so I'm gonna put this back on my TBR, month 2 for The Humans. We are going to I believe this is our 5th pick. 3, 2, 1, 8 of Hearts. Okay, 8 of Hearts is nonfiction. That's a scary one. What I think I'm gonna try to read this month, because it's close to me physically, and I've been wanting to read it for a while, is 3 Women by Lisa Taddeo. This is it's just a cool book, guys. Okay. Sorry if you're like banging and water running. I'm not quite sure what my family's doing. Over the past 8 years, journalist Lisa Taddeo has driven across the country 6 times to embed herself with ordinary... Honestly, sounds like someone's in my pipes right now. Really very unclear what that noise is. I'm just gonna keep pushing forward. We're going. Over the past 8 years, journalist Lisa Taddeo has driven across the country 6 times to embed herself with ordinary women from different regions and backgrounds. The result, 3 Women, is the deepest nonfiction portrait of desire ever written and one of the most celebrated books of the year. So basically she goes, is it 6 different women? 3 different women? I think it's 3. She basically explores their sexual life, their sexual relationships, and it's just, I mean, it sounds so weird when I describe it, but I mean, does it help when I say that I'm a women in gender studies, and I'm a women in gender studies, period. I'm a women in gender studies major, and this is this kind of stuff that we look at and we study, and so, sorry if it's weird, it might be. I have lost all of my sensitivity to conversations like this, so 3 Women, Lisa Taddeo. Let's reorganize this. And also, sorry. We have to take this off. Nope, that's empty. We're gonna pretend it's not though, and I'm gonna do it off camera. We have 2 more picks. I'm really in the mood for fantasy right now, currently, so I'd really like to get... Do I have any fantasy in here yet? No. I'm really into fantasy. I'd really like to get Kingdom of the Cursed or House on the Cerulean Sea on my TBR. That would be really great. So, I shouldn't say that because I've been told not to do that, because it seems like whenever I do that, then I get something bad happens. But, 6 of diamonds. Now, do you want to know something funny? I don't know why I said it like that. So what I did last round, and what confused everyone, including myself, is I gave myself a punishment where if I pick a number twice, even if it's not next to each other, I give myself a punishment, which is not the case. That was the old deck of TBR. I literally went back like a year. I don't know why I did that. That's not the case. So this is the second 6 I picked, but that does not mean I have to add a punishment. I don't know why I did that last TBR. My brain just reverted to like original deck of TBR rules. We are getting a lot of diamonds and hearts today though. 6 of diamonds is audiobook. That's so exciting because it means it doesn't have to be a book that I own. It could be any book. Wow, that is a lot of possibilities. I'm gonna need to think about this for a while. Okay, this is really awkward now because somebody else the room. I'm gonna come back to the audiobook prompt because it's taking me too long to figure out what I want to do. So I'm just gonna pick the last one and then my dog's being funny. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back and it's gonna be 5. 10 of diamonds. That is behind here. Arc, yes. Okay, I really wanted an arc because I have an arc, which is The Bodyguard, which is by somebody, and it's a romance and it's coming out in like July or June or something. And I've been putting it off for a really long time, so that will be my arc. And I got literally 0 punishments, so literally even better. Okay, I'm gonna go get all these books together and then come back with telling you which audiobook I'm going to listen to and also the rankings of my books this month. So the end of this video will be featuring my book club. This is the people in my book club. I was talking about my book club, but I never names to faces.
You do talk, yeah.
This is Alexis and this is Sarah. So they're gonna help me do the outro of this video, I guess.
Yeah.
So the audiobook that I chose for this month is The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue, which she wrote Room, and it's basically about the pandemic in Ireland and a maternity ward, and it's supposed to be gay. So that's why I chose it, because it's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, by the way. Woo! Now, we're going to rank the books that I'm reading this month from 1 to 7.
Am I the video?
Did you think you weren't in the video? Number 1, we have Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. And this is the first time you guys are finding out what I'm reading this month also. So. Nice.
Oh my gosh! Spoilers!
Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren is number 1. It's Christina Lauren, so I think I'm going to love it the most out of all the books that I read this month. Corbin has the entire granola bar in his mouth. Number 2 that I'm reading this month that I think is going to be second is Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. Back on my TBR, round 2. This was on my TBR a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. This is historical fiction. Okay, now number 3, also back on my TBR from last month, The Humans by Matt Haig. Oh. We read The Midnight Library for our book club last year, so Matt Haig. And then number 4 is The Bodyguard, which is the arc that I'm going to read. It's like a romance, and I think it's about like a guy who's like famous. He needs a bodyguard to defend him, and the bodyguard is a woman. And so like good. 3 Women is number 5, which is a nonfiction.
It's so hard to get comfortable.
I feel like I'm like a teacher and I'm like reading to like elementary students. Number 5 is 3 Women, which is like an exposition of 3 women's sex lives. And number 6 is Pull of the Stars, which is the audiobook that I just talked about, the gay one. And number 7 is Harry Potter. I'm finally reading the last Harry Potter book.
Are you really?
So those are the 7 books that I'm going to read this month. I'm going to read all of them. Every single one of them I'm going to read.
We're going to hold you accountable.
Yeah, okay. You've heard it here first, people. A book club is holding me accountable. Okay, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. it's like, I don't like seeing that you guys in the camera for some reason. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel so much pressure that you're just like, yeah, look down, please.
Okay.
Are
we in trouble?
We're in trouble.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you're reading in June. What are you reading in June?
I'm reading The Vanishing Half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading
How's
This Really in C.
That was,
Yes.
You just needed one. What are you
Also,
reading?
Something Wilder.
Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I already said that. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. It really helps out my channel. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. And I hope you have a great life. Oh my gosh. And I'll see you hopefully very, very soon. Bye.